Yeah. Guess what? It's another show, and I gotta give you Astro-Numerology flow. What's the numbers on the agenda? Miss Porcha Cooper, she's got the agenda. So listen up and bring your ears. She's a Taurus, the bull, so there is no fear. With that Scorpio moon, you know she will swoon, giving you the numbers like the silver spoon. Get the dough, make the money in the flow. Lyrically, nobody can just tic-tac-toe. I figure out things really quick with my brain. Mercury and Virgo, I spit it insane. It's knowledge is love. And can't you see, I got Porcha Cooper just chilling with me. Tonight, we gonna make it go. Now it's time for us to rock the show. Ooh, ooh! Knowledge. What's up, y'all? It's Eric Taylor, Big E Astrology. Feeling good. This is going to be a good show. I want to welcome you all to episode 365 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast with my amazing guest, Astro-Numerologist. She does real estate, crypto, so much cardiology. I present to you tonight, Miss Porcha Cooper. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for having me. And welcome, family. I appreciate everyone being here.
Look at you, all reserved like the tourist. Come on. It's like family. You know
we got to stay poised.
I love it. I love it. And I'm only playing. And I'm so excited to have you here because I can never get enough of numerology, but I really love kind of your twist. I saw you first on Lloyd, I think last year. Shout out to Baba Lloyd Strayhorn. He's the best. And then I saw you recently with Numeralytics, Queen Bee. And your presentation, and you were breaking down, I think it was the U.S. July 4th, Independence Day, right? It was amazing. And I was like, this sister's brilliant. She's got to be here for my audience on the Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast. So I want to just give them a little bit, the basics of your astrology, right? You are the Taurus Sun, Scorpio Moon, and Leo Rising. Has anybody ever called you the fixed queen before?
No, but I do have a lot of fixed signs, right? The Scorpio, the Leo, and the Taurus, right? The bull, the lion, and the eagle.
You got it. And those are very spiritual, karmic energies and placements. So how did you first get into astro-numerology?
Well, I think it got into me actually before I got into it, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It kind of led me down this path. It wasn't intentional, to be honest with you. I was, searching for more meaning in my life and why I was here, basically. What's my purpose? And one of the things that always kind of was a stick in my craw was my name. I always wondered why, I was named this name. Why was it given to me? So that always was a mystery to me. And then my birthday, I always thought that was a special day. And even when I was a kid, I would always go straight to the astrology in the newspaper and see what my forecast was for the week or for the day or whatever it was. But I would never put a whole lot of weight on it. I would just kind of see what the energy played out for the day. And I'd be like, oh yeah, it was right. Oh no, it wasn't quite accurate. And then I found out that, the astrology, the horoscope wasn't written for your sun sign. It's written for your rising sign.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had to learn all that. And then back in 1999, I got the birthday book, and it actually broke down everybody's birthday, stars and number. And that book just blew my mind. And I still have that book to this day. They still print it, but it's just one of those books where you have to have it because it breaks down everyone, even from your origin, your star origin. Like I came from Alcyon, right? That's what it says. It came from that star. So, I mean, it has a wealth of information. And so, like I said, it got into me before I got into it.
I love that. And that's really deep because sometimes we have influences, right? From a parent, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle. And then sometimes we kind of stumble upon things because it's almost like something is kind of poking or provoking our soul to kind of remember. And I love when you said that because I also, Portia, I used to get the New York Times, but mainly the Post and Daily News. But I'd go to the sports section first and then immediately go back to the horoscope, And I mean, since I was young, we're talking 1980, I was really, and I just knew my parents' placements and myself and my sister. And it made sense to me. So speaking of that, And hello to everybody in the chat. We'll get to you guys in a
Yes.
second. And Portia will read a couple of comments and questions. I see people already in here. I love it. Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
Quintella's here,
All
right?
right.
Yeah, that she's our faithful.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have what's that? Mammy Miss, Mama Miss. I'm sorry
Mama
if I
Miss.
was
Yeah.
Mama Miss. CC naturally, she in the house.
I
Dan Figueroa, he's with us tonight.
Yeah.
Right. So it looks like we got the family in the
These
house.
are the OGs and the regulars. And Quintella's got that Pisces moon, man. And that warms my heart because that's what my mom had. But I wanted to ask you two things, right? We'll get to your Scorpio moon in a second. But who was Portia at 10 years old? And could you have ever imagined all that you do and you are today?
Well, no, I didn't think I'll be going down this path, right? Because this is not the path of riches, right?
Not yet. No. We got to
Not
claim it. We
yet,
got to
not
take it.
yet,
No.
right? It
You are
hasn't been
already
proven.
wealthy and abundant.
Correct. But what I'm saying is, you don't get into this for the money. You get into it because you love it.
Yes.
Right. And when I was 10 years old, I was always, precocious, very, intelligent, book smart, all that good stuff, and well read. And what I thought I was going into was sales. I knew I was going into sales because I remember writing a paper in the 3rd grade saying that I was going into sales. And so that's probably why I was drawn into real estate.
That's so cute.
Yeah, isn't it cute? But it's also part of my life path because my life path is 5, and 5 is salespeople, right?
Yeah.
So I
And
didn't
that's
know that at
rare.
the time, but I just knew that was something that I had to go into. And then the I guess the astrology, the numerology and all that just fell into my lap as time went on. I just knew that, there was more meaning than just this physical presence that we see here. And I had an incident in college where my boyfriend and I at the time, we got into a car accident the night before. And I remember having to take his brother to the airport, and the airport was like an hour or so away. I had no sleep that night, and I was the one that had to drive an hour to the airport. And let me tell you, Eric, the car was standard, so it was stick. I do not remember getting to that airport. I remember getting in the car and then just waking up when we were at the airport. And so I knew then something greater was God in my life. I don't remember shifting any of that stuff in between.
You had the archangels with you and everybody, the ancestors. I love that. That's deep. And I don't know if you're familiar or if you're aware of this, but you've got not only the Scorpio moon, but Uranus and Scorpio too in the 4th house. But the reason why I bring it up is because when you have a Scorpio sun moon rising, you are here to break generational curses. And I don't know if you've talked to your mom about this, but something happened during the pregnancy or birth, right? Either preeclampsia, emergency C-section, jaundice, umbilical around the neck. Are you aware of anything?
No, I'm not. I'll have to ask my grandmother because my mother passed away, but I will have to ask her that. But I do have a question. I do have a question as to what happens when someone comes in on that 29th degree, because that was something that I was like, why did I come in at the last minute? It was like, I made the last decision as a soul to jump into this world.
29 degrees, what is your Taurus?
Yeah, Taurus.
Oh, the sun. Yeah. Well, that's the, anaretic critical degree. It's very powerful, right? And you're on that cusp of energy. The Taurus Gemini cusp, you share that with Marvelous, Marvin Hagler, Notorious Big, Busta Rhymes. It's a powerful cusp, very powerful cusp. And when there's 29 degrees, it's bombastic. It's like you're kind of really here to put an emphasis, but it's also kind of peeking in with that Gemini energy. So I don't remember, is your Mercury in Gemini or is it in Taurus?
My Mercury's in Taurus.
Okay. So, but like sometimes you'll have some Gemini placements, right? If your sun is
Gemini
there, like
is in
Venus. You have Venus in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what Venus is, the money, right? So you have money coming from multiple directions. There it is. And Venus and Gemini, they are kind of like, the ladies don't realize it because sometimes you guys are just so friendly. You're accidental flirts because you're not flirting, but gentlemen are a little slow sometimes behind the wheel. So if you're chatting up a guy in the face, he's like, oh, wow, she must like me. And it's like, no, she's just Venus and Gemini. She's just social and friendly, but that's not what the fellas think. Okay. So I just want to let you know that, and I'm sure you've experienced that at some time in your life too.
I had a few stalkers. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've had a few
I
stalkers.
was hoping it wasn't to that extreme, but with that
No,
Scorpio
but seriously, I had this one guy that would just, I would work. We were working together, and he would wait outside the building every day when I pull up, just so he could walk in the building with me, and it was just really strange. He tried to hold my hand and do weird stuff, but yeah.
yeah, that is kind of weird. That pull up on me. Trying to pull up on me. That's what we got to watch.
But
So,
he's
okay.
just one incident.
Oh my gosh. So I want to jump into your presentation because I know it's going to take some time, but it is meaty and juicy. Now, you've got a
Yes.
lot of powerful information, and tonight we are decoding the name. What does that mean in terms of numerology for us to experience?
Well, what it means is that we all carry a signature energetic vibration or frequency, and it's all, encompassed in our name. So, how I look at it is that, yeah, you have your birthday, but other people are born on your birthday too, right? So, they could have those similar qualities, but your name is original and unique to you. And so, that's how we can kind of distinguish your personality and what you came here to do, because your name is an energetic imprint that was placed on you by your parents when they named you. And so this is something that was given to you. This energy was given to you at birth, right? And so it's more on the material plane because the name operates here in this and on this plane and not on the spiritual level. But it does give you an idea of what your soul purpose is through the vowels in your letter. I mean, your name. The vowels in your name make up your soul's urge, your soul's mission, your soul's passion. So I can look at the vowels in your name and tell you what your purpose is in life without having to even know your birth date.
Wow. See, and I love that because, I put stuff in on the websites and, I know I'm that life path 9, but I love, when you get into the destiny number, the expression number, all these different things, it's so intricate. And you also, right, you use numerology to help people with business, correct?
Yes, yes, because we have to do energetic alignment with the time, right? Because all of us are in certain personal years, certain cycles. And so if we're working against those cycles, then we'll never get anything accomplished. Like yesterday, I read somebody, he was in a personal year 4. That's not a money year. The 4 year for a personal year is for you to plan, review, and then structure, right, your finances so you can get ready for the next year, which is a 5 year, where you will have the tides will be in on a 5 year, right? Your money
Mm,
will be coming in on that year, but the 4 years to plan for what's happening for the next. So you
okay.
have to know the cycles that you're in because
Right.
people wonder why, things aren't going their way. They're starting businesses at the wrong time, right? Think going after new jobs or financial pursuits and not wondering or figuring out, is this the right time for me to do these things?
And we all know, right, that the powers that be, this is what they use. They use the astrology, the numerology, the gematria, right? All these different things to advance themselves, to release movies on the Friday, the books, the television shows. I mean, even companies, right? You think about Warren Buffett, BH, Berkshire Hathaway, 28, right? And you'll see some of these people, they'll get married on the 28th. So they are very aware of the numerology. And we all know the famous quote from JP Morgan, right? That astrology is the language, what is it? The language of billionaires, only millionaires don't use it, or, something like that. And
Right.
so
And we
that's,
see that everlasting success with Chase Bank, right? It's been around forever and a day, even beyond his grave, right? And so
yeah,
these people, and then Bill Gates was born October 28th, just to add to
yes.
that. And he started Microsoft on days that worked for him. April 4th, 1975. So you're looking at 4/4, 1975 equals up to a 22/4, which is a master number. So he knew exactly what day to start that company. So don't think these people don't plan. Why aren't we using this information?
Thank you. That's what I try to tell my audience all the time, Portia. And, we need to use these tools, this ancient wisdom and knowledge that is ours, right? And use it for good because they use it to manipulate the masses. And we ain't going out like that no more. We're not standing for that. So, honey,
No,
let's go
but
ahead.
we've
What do
been
you?
kept away. We've been kept away from this information. Now that everything is at everyone's fingertips, there's no reason why we shouldn't know now.
And there's no excuses except for, right, we still have limiting beliefs and we have our dogmatic programmings that, this stuff is a sin. And occult is just hidden, right? Occult wisdom and knowledge.
Just
And,
hidden information.
And they went, right? The Greeks and the Romans, they all went to ancient Kemet to learn this, right? And this is coming way back from Mali, the Dogon tribes, and all through Africa and Ethiopia, Kush, and all that stuff, even to ancient Kemet. So come on, people, like, it's 2025. We're in the age of Aquarius. Aren't you a little curious by now? Like the way the world's been going for a while, something is a little weird, I mean, come on.
All right. Are you not tired of struggling and things not going your way and wondering why things are not working out and why your life is not better than what it could be? I mean, there's a lot of things that this information can improve. And certainly it can be your finances, your health, right? And then your relationships with people. Because then once you understand a person by breaking down their information, you know how to deal with them, right? You understand why you had such trouble with your mother because of the opposition in your chart and all this stuff, right?
That's deep. Now, listen, you said something, and I don't want to go off on a tangent because I want to get to your presentation, but you already got me thinking about the next time you come back on the show, because can you see health through the numbers in numerology?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know in astrology, we have medical astrology, but I didn't know with numerology that you can really see different things with the health. And okay. Oh, yeah.
There's certain times of the year, you have to look out for certain things, and then the energy that you're in as well can bring on certain things. So like, let's say you're in a personal year 5. 5 is high energy. So you're probably going to burn out, a lot of stress, a lot of nervous conditions. 4 is mental health. So if you're in a 4 year, look out for mental health issues, depression, bipolar, people who have 4 in their a lot of 4 present may have suicide tendencies. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of those numbers are tied to health, right? All the numbers are tied to some type of health, right? And then every number is ruled by a planet, right? Every number is ruled by astrological sign, right? And so this is how we tie all these sciences into one another.
Yeah, I did a show with our dear, amazing friend Kimberly, and we were connecting the numbers with the planets, and that was so much fun. She's such a sweet soul. So, okay, you want to hit the screen share, and then we jump on into your presentation.
All right. Well, Steve says, Lascalia says, peace and love, Eric.
Stevie
we have GL that says, good evening, everyone. We have Quintella says, amen. She's only for laugh out loud, but I still want to ask her to see what she says. It came to mind earlier this morning, and I started checking our name and birthday match. So I'm not sure what she's talking about, but I'll go down into the chat here. Mama Miss says, my Venus is in Aquarius in the 3rd house of Gemini. Everybody be thinking I'm flirting without even opening my mouth, right? So she just walks in the room and
well, yeah, Venus and Aquarius, they are accidental flirts. It's something about the Venus and the air signs, to be honest with you. It's really powerful. Okay.
Yeah, they communicate that love, right? So let's get let me get my screen up here.
Yeah.
Stephen the Jupiterian says, hey, Taylor Tribe.
Yeah, that's about for my community. We have a lot of people, and our next meeting is Saturday, August 9th for the tribe. If you guys want to join, it's awesome. It's www.community.BigEAstrology.com. And now it's time for Miss Porcha Cooper to present to us some amazing stuff.
Oh, man, I think it's sharing the wrong tab. Let me make it share the right one here.
Okay.
Because it's on the wrong screen. All right, let's see here. Now I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Kind of tricky. I just want to make sure I have the right window up. Okay.
Now you got to click the screen share again.
I got it. You see it?
Oh, there we go. Bingo.
All right. See the full presentation, the full screen. I just want to make sure you see that.
Yes, it looks beautiful.
All right. All right. So decoding your name, y'all. Let's jump into it. So let's see about what or how you can break down the energetic vibration of your name. So what's in a name? That which we call a rose would smell as sweet. So that's what Shakespeare said, right? When that was from Romeo and Juliet, when there were the Capulets and the Montagues, and they were questioning what is a name, right? And so Think
Yeah.
about this. If you had a different name, would you still be the same person?
Definitely not.
You see what I'm saying? So, welcome to Decoding Your Name Vibration, a journey into your soul of identity through numerology. Your name is not just a label, it's an energetic code that carries a frequency, influencing your life path, your personality, and your spiritual growth. So, there are two primary numerology systems when it comes to decoding the names. There's Pythagorean and Chaldean. Tonight,
Which
we're
one
going
is
to,
older, Portia? Which one's older?
the Chaldean is.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, Chaldean is a more ancient system. The Pythagorean is much friendlier. Because it uses 1 through 9, it's easier to break down the letters than it is with the Chaldean, which only goes to 1 through 8. They didn't believe in using the number 9. You know that number 9 is very sacred.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the end of the road, you know.
Yeah. So the Chaldean, you won't find the number 9 in their number chart.
Okay.
Yeah, but by the end of this presentation, though, you'll be able to decode your name and use its vibration to align with your destiny, though. So that's my intent. Now, this is just a snippet of a course that I will have online through my Substack community. So if you go to soulcard.substack.com and subscribe, it's only $7 a month right now. But you will have access to this full course, and the course will be loaded on next month.
Okay.
So
And all of Portia's information, you guys, is right down below in the description. So go support, follow her on IG, TikTok, and check out her beautiful website. Oh my God.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that.
Hmm.
So, your name vibration, how does it affect your life? Well, the powerful frequency that influences how you express yourself, interact with others, navigate your life path. It carries energetic codes that shape your personality, your desires, even your type of opportunities and challenges that you will attract. So, think about this, y'all. Why do celebrities change their name? Right? It has to be a reason why, because the name, their birth name, doesn't work with the path that they're supposed to be on. Think about Norma Jean Baker. Does anybody know who that is? Right? Norma
Yeah,
Jean?
Miss Marilyn Monroe. And I
Exactly. But
did
what
and I
sounds
did her
better?
birth chart. It's on my channel, the Celebrity Birth Chart series, Marilyn Monroe. Powerful.
Very interesting lady, right? Because she was born with August 26th, died in 1962. And I found that it's funny that her birth year was 26 and she died in 62. So just the reverse of the numbers, right?
Yeah, and it was not an accident, and it was not what they said. I did the chart reading. It's very nefarious.
Of course, right? She
Yeah,
knew too much and they had to take her out.
exactly.
Yeah. So she converted with the wrong sort of people, and it's unfortunate. And she didn't know herself, because when she looked in the mirror, she wasn't sure of her own identity.
Yes. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
because also she has Neptune on the ascendant, right? She was Neptune in Leo. And sometimes Neptune, it can take you almost half your life or a long time for you to really understand who you are. Other people will tell you you're this, you're that. Oh, you're other people's ideals, but you're trying to figure out who you are yourself.
Yeah, but it doesn't help when you look like someone else, right? Because they did a lot of plastic surgery with her where she didn't even recognize herself anymore. They dyed her hair
Mm,
blonde.
yeah.
They altered her face. They did a lot of stuff. So Marilyn Monroe wasn't even Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. No, keep it real. Keep it real.
At the end of the day. And that's what Hollywood's been doing. They've been putting up this illusion of people and beauty, that these impossible standards that women are always trying to live up to, that can't. Even those women can't live up to those standards.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
So
done now. That's done now.
yeah. So some vibrations like the 4 and the 8 have more unusual and intense energies. The 4 is discipline and structure, but can bring limitation, while the 8 carries power and material focus, but often comes with karmic lessons. Because remember, 8 is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn don't play, right? Saturn comes for that karma. And so
Woo.
people who are usually number 8 are cracking those whips on their own back, right? So
You got to
and
respect Saturn. We live in a Saturnian bubble matrix, and you got to honor and respect Saturn. It's important.
Yeah, yeah. So when people feel blocked, out of alignment, or constantly misunderstood, they may sense it's tied to the energy of their name. And this is why some choose to alter or adjust their name, aiming to better harmonize with their soul's purpose and shift their life's vibration. And you can also think about this, like when someone's young, like let's say if you named your son John, usually when John is young, you name him Johnny. But when Johnny gets older, he doesn't like that name Johnny because he thinks that's too young, right? And so he may go by the older name of John because it's more distinguished, right? So people know, right? We know through the vibration of names just instinctively what works and what doesn't work in certain settings. Now, the cornerstone is the first letter of your name, the first energetic vibration that influence that contacts the newborn. This letter has vital connection with your birth date, and the cornerstone is which you are built upon according to its nature and qualities. It will have a vitalizing or debilitating effect upon your life, and it affects is felt more on the material plane than the spiritual. So, really, what this deals with is just your natural inclinations and your perspectives as it relates to the material world. So, that's the first letter in your name and the influence of it.
Mm.
Your family name can also reveal many things in general about you and in your family, like occupations that your family tends to take up, the kind of health issues that they may have, or whatever tendencies that your family has as a whole. And you get that information by adding up all the letter numbers in your family's name to a single digit. And then from there, we can break down that digit to find out what health related issues or traits that number has that your family has overall as a quality.
Do you think that's one reason why some women, I mean, they may not know it, but do you think in some on a deeper level, intuitively, they're like, no, I don't want to take on that last name, or, or I will hyphenate like Jada Pinkett Smith, or I will do, or I'm not changing, I'm going to keep my name. Do you think, do you think some of them actually know it, or is it more intuitive feel?
I think it's an intuitive feel, and then you have some women that want to maintain their identity, and so they
Yeah.
don't want to take on any of the husband's energetic patterns or anything like that. And it is crazy how we do marry into these families and accept these names, not even know how that's altering my vibration. Is it helping me or is it not? Because if I'm going to marry into a family, I want to make sure that name is going to be beneficial to me. And if not, then maybe I shouldn't take on this name, or maybe I should hyphenate it.
Yeah, no, that's important. So anybody planning any late summer or fall weddings, you better reach out and book with Portia to make sure it's kosher.
And then on top of that, baby names, that's important too. Just like what I talked about the cornerstone letter, how that letter imprints on the newborn immediately. And so if you're thinking of if you're pregnant and you're thinking of baby names, well, maybe we should talk about the names that you're thinking about so we can make sure that it's an energetic harmony with your baby, especially if you have a certain due date. And we can make sure that it's in the same alignment with that birth date. Because usually what happens, and I think this is strange, they say that if you name a baby before it's born, usually the due date is accurate. But if you wait till after, sometimes the due date can be off. And then the baby takes on the energetic qualities of that name after birth. So I don't know how all that works, but it all is energy.
Well, I'll tell you, from my firstborn, I had the name picked out before I even met my wife. And once I shared it with her, she like loved it and agreed with it. But
Mhm.
with the Taylor twins, one of them, he picked his name from the womb. We were going through a name book and we were going through different names. We had the middle name because it was going to be from my father, from his nickname. But my son, Mateus, and that's a derivative of Matthew, which is a gift or offering to God. He kicked 3 times when she said the name. When she said other names, he did nothing. So like he literally chose it. Like he kicked every time she said Mateus.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
what
how
I'm
we had the
saying.
confirmation. Like he literally kicked 3 times. I was like, okay, well, he picked his name. That's what he wants.
And so now we need to break down their names and see how in alignment is with his birthday and with his life path as well, because obviously he knew what his energetic vibration was supposed to be when he got here.
Yeah. That's
Mhm. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, no, it gives me chills. Yeah.
So the number system, again, we're going to talk about Pythagorean here tonight, but just to give you a little breakdown of both, as I mentioned in the beginning, the Pythagorean is 1 through 9, and they focus on logic, structure, and purpose. And the Chaldean is a more older and more mystical system, and assigns values from 1 through 8 on sound vibration, and is believed to be more spiritual and intuitive.
Yeah.
Okay. So both of them allow for a multidimensional look at your name and how it impacts your energy as well.
Okay.
So Pythagorean, the core name numbers for the Pythagorean numerology would be your destiny, your soul, and personality number. Your destiny number is no more than your soul and personality numbers combined. So this gives you the full picture, your overall purpose and path. Your soul number is your vows. So it uncovers your inner desires and your motivation, while your personality number are your consonants, and they reflect how other people perceive you, right? So it's not so much who you are, but how other people see you.
So
And
could I ask you a question? Would you equate that where the life path would almost be like your sun sign, the soul urge would almost be like your moon sign, and then the destiny expression would almost be like the rising, since you said how others see you or perceive you.
Yeah, how other people's perceive. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? You broke it down just perfectly, right?
Thank,
Because their
thank
destiny
you
number.
kindly.
Yes, yes, honey. Because your destiny number is your life path number, right? Your life path number goes with your destiny number. I mean, they use them interchangeably.
Mm,
They use them interchangeably. So, but the one good thing is if your name is not in alignment with your life path, because remember, you can't change your birthday, right? You
right,
got that. That's the one thing you can't change, but you
right.
can change your name. So if you
Can
wanted
I
to
ask you
change
a
your name,
question though? Because some
yes.
spiritual people have said or believe, and I don't know your ideology and thoughts on this, that changing the name is kind of, messing with the intention of the soul and could create some sort of spiritual confusion. Any thoughts on that?
Well, it just depends on what your intentions are in this material realm. Because remember, I told you the name affects the material world,
Yeah.
not so much the spiritual essence. And so it really depends on what your material gain is in this world. Because, like I said, a lot of celebrities change their name because those names that they change to are more conducive to the wealth and the fame and the notoriety that they're trying to achieve.
Right.
Right?
But that may be bad for them spiritually. They're just trying to get the bag and the materialism, but that may not really be good for their soul.
No, and it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like Sean Combs, right? What's his middle name again? I forgot.
I think it's
John.
John. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean John Combs. But he went by Puff Daddy at first until he got that charge, and then he changed it to P Diddy. And
Oh,
everybody's like,
he
"Oh, P
changed
Diddy
it a
is
million
his fake
times.
name,
He
huh?"
did Puffy, Puff Daddy, P
Right?
Diddy, Diddy, Love. I mean, it's just silly. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously those names that he's changing to have some type of energetic context that he's trying to achieve. He's
Mm,
never really going outside of that P Diddy, P Puff Daddy kind of realm. You see that?
yeah.
Yeah, he's not going by Sean. And neither is Jay-Z. Jay-Z's not going by Sean either.
Yeah. Two Sean's, both born on the 4th, November 4th and December
December
4th.
4th.
Kind of funny.
It is kind of funny, right? And how that all worked out. But that 4 is that number of mental fortitude, right? Those dudes, they have a lot on their mind, right?
Mhm.
And they can rule business because they're structured.
Right.
And then Beyonce is on September 4th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All those fours. Yeah.
yeah.
444. People talk
Four,
about that album, 444.
yeah. So again, your destiny number, or you can call your expression number. It goes by either one. And so if you see expression number, just know that's destiny number, and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah. They're interchangeable.
So what you would do is write your full name out at birth. So women, they always ask, do I write my name as it is now if I'm married, or my maiden name? Write your maiden name, right? Whatever name was given to you at birth, because what we need to see is what the energetic resonance was at the time of birth, right?
Ah,
And up until the point when you got married, because once we add in the married name, we can see how that impacted your energy or changed it for the good or for the worse, right?
okay. So that's when ladies are doing the numerology, look at the maiden name first. And then if you're married, see the difference and the change with the married name.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's what we want to do.
Okay.
And
Because then, ladies, you may be like, "Ooh, I'm going back to that maiden name. It was better for me." Oh God. Tell
but
your
you know,
husband, baby, I still love you, but I got to go back.
and
Oh my
who knows? You may have a progressive man where he's willing to take on your last name. Who knows, right? So I think Ricky Williams
Ooh,
did
that's listen. I haven't met that guy yet.
that.
I
Ricky
don't know.
Williams,
Huh?
the football player, Ricky Williams, he took on his wife's last name.
Really? Now,
Yeah,
well, Ricky Williams is now an astrologer, so he changed his name altogether.
yeah, he took on his wife's last name. No, he didn't care.
Wow.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
there's some. I mean,
He,
if the woman
he's
is
a
more
different cat.
powerful,
He's a different cat.
he is a different cat. But think about it, though, Eric. If you were to marry Oprah, I'm sure you'll take on Winfrey all day long. Call me Eric Winfrey. You know
I,
what I'm saying?
listen. I would never. Oof, good Lord, no, 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 not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea, but I'm saying if the
No,
woman has
no, I'm joking. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah, no. With
right. So
all that wealth, you'd be like, yeah, call me Poindexter.
and that's probably why Stedman didn't marry her. He wasn't willing to take on her last name. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Well, the destiny number reflects your life's purpose and the direction you're meant to take, your strengths you bring to the world, and indicates your natural skills, talents, and ability. Your mental or soul number. So again, they can go by your soul number or your mental state number. They both mean the same thing, which is just basically the vowels in your name. And the vowels are always active in your soul. Your soul number reveals your heart's true desires. It represents your likes and your dislikes, as well as your inner desires. And this is where you find your passion in your true mental state.
That's powerful. I never heard of it called the mental number.
Uh-huh.
And so
Mental
that
state.
connects to exactly what I was saying earlier, because the moon is the mind, right? Your mental,
That's
your
right.
emotional mind and your response system, your intuition, body health. So that's, wow, that's powerful. I actually never heard that. I've only just heard the soul. I never heard the mental number. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I want to make sure people know, because it does go by. Because
Yeah.
sometimes some texts will have it as a mental state number, and some will have it by the
Okay.
soul number.
No, thank you. I'm learning today. I love it, Portia. I love to learn something new every day. Thank you, my friend. This is great.
And I love to teach, so that's why I'm here. So your personality number, where your personality number is just the consonants from your full name, and then you just add them up. And this represents the first impression that you make on people. This shows how others interpret your energy and how others see you, not necessarily who you are, right?
Mm.
So it's kind of like your first impression, the person that they meet, the exterior, until they get to know you.
So I want to ask you a deep question. We
Mhm.
can't change our birth chart, and we can't change the birth date, which is the soul number. But or is that the life path, the birth date?
The life
Life
path.
path, sorry. But you can change the name, which would be like the moon, the soul number. And so it's almost like you could compare your numerology and your astrology and then see where you may be out of alignment, and then make these like adjustments by changing a couple of letters or the entire name. I guess that's how you would advise people, correct?
Yes, yes, that's exactly how we would do it. We would have to change the name. And then, like I said, if someone has a born on the fourth, and then all their numbers and their name add up to a 4 or 8, then that's going to make it kind of tough for them in life. So we need to alter that name to something that energetically matches their vibration, and be more in harmony. Because you don't ever want to be in opposition with your name or your birthday, right?
Do
So
you
you
feel
need to
like you
alter
can
that.
see that in someone's life? Like if you meet somebody, could you be like, like that where they're at opposition, could that almost create something like schizophrenia or bipolar or anything like that? Or just someone who's always kind of frustrated and irritable and swimming against the current?
Someone who's swimming against the currents, not never going far in life, maybe not wanting to achieve much, not able. Because I remember someone was saying that this guy was going out for different jobs and never getting the job, and then he talked to a numerologist. She suggested that he changed his name, and when he changed his name, he wound up getting hired.
Wow.
So that's what I'm
There
saying. You
you
don't
go.
know.
You guys hear that one? That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what's working against you until you look at the overall picture of the numbers, and then what's supposed to be working in your favor. Because even though you may not know it, we energetically interpret things on a subconscious level. So the people who were rejecting them for that job were looking at the name, and rejecting them on a subconscious level because of the energetic vibration of that name.
Well, in some jobs, they actually know numerology, so they won't hire you because they actually check those things. And, people don't want to get into it, but the government, the church, they know our birth charts. Okay. We get registered at the hospital for a reason. You may not have it on your birth certificate. Believe me, they know your birth time. And so do the
Well,
churches. Okay.
that too, and then some names are just ethnic, right? Like my name is Shaniqua Johnson, they're gonna know
Oh, yeah.
Shaniqua.
You're going to have the racist and the prejudice. I mean, listen, when we got into those trends, and I'm all about the ethnic names, but I remember there were some names that I was like, oh, good Lord, why you do that to your baby? You know what I mean?
Right, and that
And
makes it tougher for that child to get a job, because they look at the name and they just immediately
they
toss that
prejudge,
resume to
yeah.
the
I mean, you
side.
can't help it. People prejudge. I
Yes.
mean, and to be honest, like I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I get better at it each day, but I used to do it just in terms of like when people would name their kids after cars or perfumes or after celebrities that have passed away. I mean, there's a million Kobe's out there, but a lot of them did that before he passed because, he was just such a great, person and the Mamba mentality. But you've got like, I don't know. I've gone through my older son, he met two different young ladies and they both had the name Aaliyah. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
oh,
was about to
Lord.
bring her up. Yep, I was
Yeah.
about to bring her up. After her death, so many people named their child Aaliyah.
Yeah, it was
And they
huge.
spelled it different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're right about that. Like even with my name, and that's what I was saying growing up, I never liked my name. And so I would research the history of my name. I knew it had to be more to the origin. People were always saying, oh, you're like the car. I'm like, I think the name, and then when I actually researched Portia, Portia predates the car. As a matter of fact, Portia was a character in The Merchant of Venice, the play written by Shakespeare.
Yeah.
She also was Brutus's wife in Caesar, right? So Portia, the name has been around, and it actually derives from the word porcus, which is pig. I hate to admit that, but that's where the word Portia comes from. So it has nothing to do with the car. And so what people don't know the origin of your name, they just assume. And so that's what I'm saying. Got to really break these origins down and figure out where these names came from. But I've been broke down my name a long time ago. I just didn't know
you did. And I'm all about etymology, right? And I try to tell people the frequency and vibration, like the English language is one of the lowest vibrational languages, right? Originally, we were doing telepathy, right? The original people here, right? Whether you talk about in indigenous America and Ethiopia, Kush, or even in New Zealand, Australia, the original people, it was like, sounds and frequency. And so, now we're kind of like hello and all these different things. And you're like, but then when you break these words down, right? Like now I do say grand rising, right? I stopped saying good morning because it's like, oh, did you have a good morning? Right? They would say that to the slaves, from crying all night after they just lost their spouse or their child being killed or hung or whatever. Did you have a good morning? And morning is the crying, over a lost one. Yeah. So, there's just, as you know better, you do better, people. So, really
what's crazy to me, Eric, and you're right, because we don't look at the words and break things down. But when ICE is coming for those immigrants and they're saying they're illegal aliens, and we're like, alien, where are they getting that word from? But if you break down that word alien and in the sense that they mean it, they mean a lien. You know what a lien is? A lien is a debt, right? Lien. So really, these people are a lien. They owe a debt to the United States or the country because they're not registered as citizens to pay taxes. So they have a lien. So that's what that means. But we're putting the words together and saying alien, but that's not it.
Nope. That's right. That's why it's important, you guys, to really break down these words.
Right? Illegal aliens, it doesn't make sense. But what they're saying is a lien, right? They got a lien on these people because they owe them money.
And they got some nerve because they the foreigners and illegal.
Correct. Correct. Just like they throw people in jail for counterfeiting, but then the government can print as much money as they like. So
exactly. So it's all it's
I'm not gonna go down that tangent. So let's get to Whitney Houston so we can break her down real quickly. Whitney is a very interesting soul. Her life path is actually a 9. She was born August 9th, 1963. So she has a lot of 9s in her chart. So that lets me know that she's an old soul. Anybody who has a life path 9 means they've been here and done that. They're called the old soul and the humanitarian. Because when they come back on that 9th round, they're really here to bring peace and joy and uplift humanity as a whole. Right?
And her voice did that. God knows.
She did it in her own way. And as you can see, she has some very powerful numbers because if you look, she is a 14-5 personality. And then look at her mental state. She's a master 11-2. I put the 2 because whenever you have a master number, it's great if you can stay in a high vibration all the time, but we know that you can't, right? And so sometimes you have to come back down to the mundane world and interact in that state. And oftentimes it's too hard for the person to maintain such high ideal quality. Okay. So a lot of time they'll be operating that lower vibration of the 2 because it's too hard to maintain the higher vibration of that master number.
That makes sense. And it's sort of like the higher and lower vibrations of astrological placements.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Now, also, I want to make note that the destiny number can be calculated 2 ways. So we could have taken all the letters in her name and add them all up and came with the destiny number. Or I could have just split out the consonants and the vowels, got those separate numbers, and added the personality and soul number together to get the destiny number, right? So
Okay.
you can do it either way. Now, another thing to watch out for is that tricky letter Y, because Y, as you know, can be a consonant or it can be a vowel, depending on where it's
Mm.
placed and the sound that it
So
makes.
what are the rules with that in numerology?
So if it's a vowel, right, that means that it starts a word like yellow, yard, right?
Yeah.
But if it's if it's a consonant, it starts a word like yellow or yard. But if it's a vowel, it makes that E sound like Whitney,
Yeah.
right?
So that's a vowel. Yeah.
Yeah, or the diphthong in Lloyd, like Lloyd has a Y, and I calculated it both ways because looking at it from his perspective, it could go either way. But you can use if it's a diphthong where the Y makes like Jim, the word
Yeah.
GYM, it's a vowel, right? So those are
Mm.
the things that you have to look out for because you want to make sure that you calculate it correctly. So
I
that's why.
love this. I've never heard anybody kind of really discuss the letter Y like that. That's great.
Yeah, and then the letter W as well can be a vowel, like in the word Gwen, right? The name Gwen or Dwight or Dwayne,
Mm.
that W would be a vowel.
Okay. Wow,
So
I've
if you
never
were to
heard
break
that
down
either.
someone's name like that, you would count that W as a vowel.
Okay. Wow.
hmm
That's
But the thing
fascinating.
about Whitney Houston is the fact that you see the cornerstone letter in her name, it's the W, right? And what does the
Yeah.
W equal up to? 5. W is the 23rd letter. And that's another way or another method of remembering the alphabets as far as Pythagorean is knowing the alphabets, right? If you know that M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, 1 plus 3 is 4. Oh, so it's a 4, right? We can do the
Right.
same thing for N, right? N is
And
the
that
14th letter.
M13, that goes to the 13, secret society families and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
That's
And
why
I
you
know,
have McDonald's and all these M's, Mercedes, and yeah, it's
yeah, you're on point. Just like K is the 11th letter of the word of the alphabet, so I know that that's going to be a number 2. So if you know the placements of the alphabets, you can pretty much guess where they are on the chart here on the Pythagorean, right? It's easier to break down that way.
So can I ask you a question? Does that her being the Leo, right, the fifth sign, and then the 23, is there like some sort of interesting connection there? Because I know 23, Jordan picking that number, it's a very royal and powerful number, the 23, right?
Yeah, it's the number of honor, fortune, and fame. 23
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these athletes clamor for that number, either 23 or 32. Now, 23 has the higher vibration, but 32 is just as good,
Right. So Magic
right?
Johnson, LeBron,
Shaquille O'Neal.
yeah, Shaquille, yeah.
Yeah. So they all had that 23. And so she came in on a mission of freedom. Just by the indication of her name, that 5 being the W, right? 5 is the W.
Right.
5 is the number of freedom, change, right? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? That's the number 5. And
Yeah.
so that is what she possessed. And she was
And
very
fives are extremely attractive people.
Yes, 5 is that number of youthful energy. If you have a lot of 5, 3s, and 7, sorry, 1, 3, and 5s in your pattern in your name, that means usually you have youthful attraction. You're youthful looking. You're very attractive to the opposite sex.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, Whitney
Yeah.
was
So
she was a very powerful voice, but also a beautiful woman. I think the real deep thing is because of sort of like her quote unquote mother, because there's debates on who her real mother was, right? But her mother, um, you know, really not wanting her to live out her life with, Robin, who is her true love. And I
right.
think that is what really led her and took her down the path. Everybody likes to blame Bobby Brown, and I'm not going to be here for that no more. New addition to Bobby Brown. I'm a defender, brother, because Whitney's brother admitted he was the one that introduced her to the drugs, not Bobby.
So and that's what I want to talk about on the next slide. But I want to mention this too, that the Houston family name equals up to a 4. And so that means that they
Mm,
tend to be odd or unusual in some way. They do things
mm,
differently than others. Their family
mhm.
occupation, since 4 is ruled by Uranus, rules technology, right? And so their family occupation could include radio, television, technology. And that's exactly what they did, right? Because Whitney was on radio, TV. Her mother was a singer as well. Her
Yep,
cousin Dionne Warwick
yep,
was a singer as well. And
yep.
then with their health, it can have odd and mysterious illnesses, They can have mental, problems like depression, bipolar,
Yeah.
possible suicide.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is all encompassed of a number
Can I
4
tell you,
planet.
I did her birth chart. I did her, a bunch of different people, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson. But
Mhm.
Whitney, it was very emotional for me because, I think they took her out and the way it was done and everything, it was just it was terrible. And I feel like she's she was gonna reinvent herself and she was gonna get better and be okay, but she did ask for her master's. And when you do that, you guys, in this industry, that's not a good thing, right? And doing an audit, not just the master's, doing an audit of what Clive Davis and the record label Arista owed her, which was a lot of money.
Same
Whitney,
thing, Andrew Stone, right?
yes,
Same thing
Whitney,
happened to Andrew
yeah,
Stone.
but Angie was not on the level. I love Angie, but she was not. I mean, the
Oh no,
money,
no, no, no,
yeah, the
no.
money that they owed Whitney, that could have moved countries and states. Okay.
Yeah, she didn't sell as much as Whitney, but Angie was. She did write a lot of songs, so she
Oh,
was.
she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so. Oh, please,
I'm not gonna take nothing away
yeah,
from her,
she
but
did.
yeah.
Angie B. She wrote, hip hop songs. Yeah, Angie was incredible. I loved her. Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear what happened with her though? Because people were saying she died in the van, but that's not what happened. They said that she actually survived the car accident, and she was sitting on the side of the road, and that 18-wheeler just veered off and just hit her.
Whoa.
Yeah, so she was actually alive after the accident, and
You
that
know,
18-wheeler just
I
came out of nowhere
I
and just hit
I
her.
I could totally see that because the whole thing, just like with Malcolm Jamal Warner, it didn't sit right with my spirit. I knew there was more to the story, and there always is with a lot of these people, unfortunately.
Yeah, there is, unfortunately,
Yeah.
like you said. So Whitney came in on some freedom stuff, right? She wanted to party, have fun. Again, she's been here before. She was on the Life Path 9, so her soul just wanted to come here and experience life in all joys and all kind of ways. So, but with that 14-5, though, that means that she had a karmic debt that was formed from abuse of personal freedom in the past life. So that's why she wanted personal freedom in all ways in this life form. And she experienced unexpected interruption in important relationships. You just mentioned that whole thing with Robin, right? So
Yeah.
that was in her path.
Yeah.
And she probably hated to wait, had a lot of lack of patience and a lack of responsibility, which added to problems. And we do know that when she was at her worst with her drug usage,
Woo.
her responsibility was not, she was not very reliable, not very dependable at that point.
Crack is whack.
Yeah, yeah, she was doing something. I don't know if it was crack, but no, she was doing the powder form, I believe.
Yeah.
She had money. And then her mental. So with the 5 personality, they must be able to do what they want, when they want to do, and how they want to do it in order to produce to their capacity. Others see them as a natural salesperson or advertiser or promoter, overdoing social interchanges and desire for sensual indulgences, right? Wanting to have sex all the time because 5 is that sex energy, right?
Yeah.
Which can lead to excess in eating, drinking, drugs, sexual encounters. Number 5, people can become fickle, restless, and undependable. So she probably embodied all those qualities, right?
Yeah.
The mental state. Now she was a master number 11. So this mental state number indicates that she is a person who had the power to focus on what she wanted until it was manifest. She was
Mm,
a creative visionary in some type of artistic form, which was music,
yeah.
and usually acquired some level of fame, but will have great difficulties to contend against. Right. So she had to fight for her fame. It wasn't anything that was handed on the platter. As a matter of fact, I think her mom was kind of against her having a music career in the beginning because I think she wanted her to stay in the church.
Well, not just that. Remember, she was auditioning for. She was going to be on was Cosby Show,
Yeah.
and then she wound up going to singing. I mean, modeling, and then the singing. So yeah, yeah, she
Yeah.
was
And
super
And she
talented.
was not on her path because someone who has a soul number 11 is someone who's been on the spiritual path for a long time. And we already know that she has because she was life path number 9. So through many reincarnation, it means that she has learned much of the mysteries of life and death. And so she was very wise, understanding. Some would say maybe intuitive, a clairvoyant, and probably had very strong ESP. So these people have messianic force, right? So she had a messianic force about her. And I don't think she was able really to truly develop her spiritual sense because of the line of work that she was in.
Yeah,
Now, the destiny number with 7, with an expression number 7, she was an intuitive, independent individual who often kept personal life private. Of course, she became very wealthy due to her gifts, which are naturally rooted in spirituality or the church, because she carried that seven. And her life purpose was actually to be a spiritual teacher who feels free to express truth through art form.
Mm.
Really, what her, because back in the day, in ancient times, people who had seven destiny were placed in the temple to become priestess and priests.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
Once you
yeah.
were marked with that, that's what you were determined to become,
Wow.
because all were aware of your mental powers. It's important
Wow.
for those on this destiny path to develop their mental powers, because the world will benefit from this.
So in a way, her big three were a 9, an 11, and a 7, or 9, 2, 7, right?
5, 11, and 7 and
Oh,
9.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, and 9. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she had some powerful numbers, spiritual numbers, right? The
Yeah.
11 and 7, the
Yeah.
7 being
No.
her destiny number, and 9 being her life path.
Yeah. Wow. God bless her. I miss her. I miss her and Michael and Prince so much.
I do too. The world was a better place when we
No,
had
it's not the
women.
same, and I felt the shift. I knew, like, when Michael died, I was like, "It's a different planet. It's just not the same." Yeah.
It is just not the same. It's not. The vibrational quality of this planet definitely shifted.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Taylor, we're on you now.
Uh-oh. Let me perk up
Oh
for this.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh
everybody in the
yeah.
chat, I want to see your comments and your fire emojis. And let me just say this. Make sure you guys are liking this episode. And then, like I always say, come back and comment so we can boost it up, and share this, because Portia is dropping it and dropping the knowledge. And make sure you guys go follow her. Give them your IG and TikTok now so they can go subscribe.
Yeah. So my IG is the soul card, right? The soulcardstudio.com. Make sure to put the D, because believe it or not, there's another soul card studio out there.
Okay.
But
So,
you can tell by the branding, it's not me, because their branding is a little bland.
yeah.
But it is the soul card studio at IG. If
Yeah.
you want to join me on Substack, it's soulcard.substack.com. And I'm not sure if I gave you the right Cash App, but it should be Venus Black, $ Venus Black, for the Cash App.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll have to edit that after the show. Okay. I didn't know. Yeah. Because I think you gave me the
I gave you the wrong one,
The
and it
coop
was my
okay,
bad.
that's
Yeah.
okay, okay. Miss Venus Black.
Yeah. Venus Black.
I like that.
I go by many names, honey.
Listen, I know.
Oh, but you know what, Eric? You have such a powerful name, and you are really on your purpose. And just like Whitney, your first letter starts with the 5, right? So you like change, freedom. You came here to express yourself freely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So E is a strong vowel. It's ruled by Mercury, the cosmic messenger, right?
Yes.
Because 5 is ruled by Mercury. You
Yeah.
are fine when you're in harmony, but changeable when in discord. Freedom is essential. Your versatility results in many changes and often brings travel. Drawn to the spiritual, you're idealistic, hopeful, and intuitive.
Yes.
Now, the Taylor name actually equals up to a 1. So these family traits indicate leadership, aggression, and determination.
Oh,
You don't like
The
to lose
Taylors
or
are no
even
joke, I tell
last.
you.
Right? Y'all probably like to play games around there, and everybody likes to win and nobody likes to lose, right?
Very competitive in my house. But even
Yes.
my father was one of 4 boys and 6 children. So, it's and he was a Scorpio moon like you.
Yeah, and he probably had a competitive household, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
Taylor name is just that. I mean, it's just that aggression. You guys are out there to win and not to lose. And you probably have family members that are writers, lawyers, leaders in any field, right? That's
Yes.
just a strong name for leadership positions, executive positions, and things like that. Owning your own business. I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot of your family members
Well,
probably
see,
own
that's
their own
why I
business.
say Alana married well.
They married well.
She
Yeah,
married
she
well,
did.
yes, the
She
Taylor
did. She
name.
married into the
And
Taylor
you know
name.
what's so funny? She said she never really wanted to take. I'm her second husband. She didn't want to take her first husband's last name. She did for a little bit, but then she went back. But she never liked writing it. When we started dating, she told me, she was like, I wasn't a crazy stalker, but I started to always write my name, Alana Taylor, and it just flowed off the paper with the pen, and it just worked. And she was like, I just knew that was going to be my name, and I was like, okay.
And
So,
that's something.
it is
Yeah.
something. That's funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
people know, and that it goes back to the energetic vibration, you know.
No,
So
yeah.
health wise, this family should watch out for heart issues, high blood pressure, and problems with the eyes. I remember you said you had a problem with your eyes and your
Yeah.
lungs.
Wow.
So
And I've
that's
never
a good
had issues
indication.
with the heart or blood pressure or anything, just the eyes. That's it.
But what about other family members? Have they had issues?
Yeah, I think that there was some stuff with the heart and some of the tailors. Maybe that my tailor's down in Tampa, but you know, I don't think it's a real issue. I think it's more diet and what they're, what folks have been eating and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
and
know.
it usually is. I mean, most of your health problems are diet related, especially when you're
Yeah.
talking about high blood pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here come the fun stuff.
Okay.
So your personality number, you're a 12-3. And the reason why I left the 12 there because the 12 denotes the hangman in the tarot. So the 48 denotes affectionate, sociable nature. So when I look at the numbers, I just don't say, oh, you're a personality 3, because that doesn't give me much
Now, how do
insight
you get the
into.
three? Where does that come from? The personality number. What do you look? What do you do to get that?
So we add up the consonants in your name. So all those numbers in blue up there at the top add up
Yeah.
to a 48.
Okay. And so the personality, because I'm used to the life path, the destiny, and then the soul urge, and then destiny. Personality. Okay. That's so the three, is that very Jupiterian?
Well, this is your external self. So yeah, Jupiter energy is with the 3, of course, because that's the
Yeah.
ruling planet for the 3. But you and your personality, this is how people see you, right?
Okay.
This is your outer expression. May not necessarily how you see yourself, but this is your outer
So is that
expression.
kind of what, like the teacher and different things, the three?
Yeah, so that would be you. So this is how people see you. People see you as the 48 has its own vibrational. So the 48 is an octave of the 3, right? Because if you add 4 plus 3, it equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. That's how we got to the 3.
Yep.
So the 48 has its own vibrational quality, though, and so we want to see how that affects your 3, right? So that's why we have to make mention of that number, because it has a vibrational impact on your 3. If you just been a straight up 3, then I'd have been like, oh, well, this is like how that 40 is just a 44, right? Nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we want to look at. We want to look at the octave of the base number that makes up your 4 or your 3 or the
Well, it's funny
overall
because
base.
I have Jupiter on the ascendant.
Yeah. See there. And so that's part of your personality, though, that's in there. And so with that, it says that you're affectionate, sociable nature, and you have psychic abilities. Successful marriage without struggle. 12 is the number of the hangman, like I said, in tarot. So it's a man hanging in suspense. It represents the victim or one being sacrificed, which can translate into anxiety or suffering in the mind. A
Mm.
great listener and offer excellent advice. Inner peace will help you continue to be the supportive person that you are. And 3 indicates you express yourself through art forms and can inspire others into growth and expansion. And that's what you do. You express yourself through music,
Yeah.
right? Through acting,
Acting, comedy.
right?
Yeah.
And you do help people through your coaching and your mentoring.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's so, wow. That's so accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the thing about the 12-3 personality indicates that others come to you for peace and guidance, needing your faith in life and in themselves. The
Mm.
hangman is conscious of one power everywhere, yet centered in himself. So you're conscious of the one power, right? Source energy, but you also know that source is within you. And
Yeah.
so you see trouble in the world, you see unhappy marriages, financial trouble, and people lost because they have no goals. And you know it because you see things, people know that you see things upside down, yet they look at you as if you're the one that's crazy, right? You're
Mm.
looking at the world right side up, even though you're looking at it upside down, because everybody's upside down. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, it's funny you say that because I was definitely a trailblazer and letting people know about the truth about so many
Exactly.
things. And, even with my first album, it was like 15, 20 years ahead of reality and what's been happening. So that's deep. That's powerful.
But
Wow.
you also probably were ridiculed, right?
Oh yeah, no. People would call me a conspiracy theorist or be like, "Oh, you're saying this and that," and then everything that I used to say in the '90s has all been coming true now. So
That's what
I
I'm trying
always
to
get the
tell you.
last laugh. I see into the future. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So you have the right viewpoint of the world. It's just that we're upside down, right? You're
Yeah.
hanging upside down. We're upside down. We don't realize it. So that sets you apart from everybody. And so that also makes you a victim because people probably ridiculed you, sacrificed you in some kind of way, like, we're not gonna hang around Eric because he's kind of crazy, he talks that stuff. right? So
Oh yeah.
it is what it is, right? At the end of the day,
I'm
we
I'm
all have to
all good. I'm
sacrifice.
all good with it, my sister.
So your soul and mental number, you're a 44. So your soul finds fulfillment and safety and security. That's why you crave and love your family, right? You love moments of stability. And with that 44, you have to learn how to be less selfish, and you know how to deal generously with others. Successful in business, you're careful with your money. You feel at peace when you're surrounded by people you trust. A safe home environment creates a sense of inner peace and contentment. So you have a very great pride for your family.
Yeah. And real quick, back to what you said before with the other number.
Uh-huh.
When I was younger, I did deal with some anxiety. I remember one time I was dating the wrong girlfriend, and at the time I was writing a script, doing an independent movie, and something else, and I got over stress and anxiety, and actually had to go to the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, see there? Look,
Yep.
the numbers don't lie, Eric. The
No,
numbers
it's
don't
deep.
lie.
It's deep.
And so with the 40, you are sure of eternal life. So you know that there is eternal life. You know that this life is temporary by that 40 number. And since you have the God symbol 0 back and through the 4 in the 40, your protection is assured. So you have God energy within you, and God is being protected divinely. That's why you have the 4. And so
That's
on the
deep.
next, isn't
Well,
it?
no, because I mean, if you know, and you said the 40, because I was in coma for 40 days.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then that means your inner guidance is always available. So even though you were in a coma, you still were being internally guided.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the negative aspect of this number, the 44, is that you only see difficulties and obstacles in your life, right? You see the glass half full instead of half empty instead of half full.
Well,
So
I've worked on that. I'm not as this pet. Actually, it's so funny because it's weird. I'm yin yang with that. I'm very optimistic, but I
mhm.
am a harsh realist. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I call a spade, and I'm like, no, that's not good. That's wrong. That's bad. Like I'm very real. But I do believe the sun is going to shine tomorrow. Just like with our ascension, we're going to be all right. We're going to
Oh
be
yeah.
all right. You know what I mean?
Because
So
like I
I am
said,
very,
you know you're sure of eternal life, just like 44. I mean, you
yeah.
know that there's more than this physical world.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is no death. It's an illusion. Yeah.
Right. And so the negative qualities of that 44, this would create confusion and disorder. You squander your money, you build castles upon sand. It must be that you maintain an orderly, secure existence to create a sound base from which you can draw strength and pursue realistic goals.
Mhm.
Then you'll leave a lasting value on this world, right? And so just like you were saying, how you kind of oscillate between being a realist and knowing that everything is working out, but then looking at what's actually happening. If you stay in that high vibration of knowing that this life is temporary and everything's always working out for you,
Yeah.
and you build your structure upon a solid foundation, you're going to leave everlasting value in this world, and you're going to leave a legacy for your kids to follow through with.
Oh, that's my middle name is Legacy.
Yeah.
Capricorn Moon. I'm always about legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's already built into you. And then, in numerology, we want to look at that 88. Any double digit number, we usually say it's a master number, or and that's only because that number is being repeated. And so people look at that as an angel number or something of that nature, right?
Hmm.
Um, but when we look at 88, because the 8 is the number of karma, it's ruled by Saturn, 88 carries a strong karmic debt to be paid. It's there to remind you of that which you put out also gets returned.
Yeah.
It is also denoted by the 16-7, which is the tower card in tarot, that in a past life, you were involved in some type of criminal activity that caused a lot, or maybe an illicit love affair. It doesn't necessarily have to be a criminal activity, but something you did in the past that caused a lot of pain and suffering to others. And
Oh
so
man.
to overcome this debt, you must be genuine, honest, and selfless and forgiving. And so we can tell that your soul has actually learned that lesson, because in the 40, and your soul number shows that your soul never forgot that lesson. It's
Yeah.
beginning the past karma and balancing the past karma through the selfless acts and generous deeds that you do now. The
That is
sixth,
crazy. I felt that growing up. I felt like I did something in my past life and I've got to deal with it in this life. But it's so funny. I tell my boys, because I got so much love like when I was in coma, and I said
mhm,
that's because of how daddy has treated people in this life. There really aren't any humans walking on this planet that, in truth and in their heart, they could say bad things about Eric Taylor, because I've never done anybody dirty or wrong. And especially, the old joke is, right, when the man has all sons, he treated the ladies right. When the men get the daughters, is because they're going to have something coming back on them, because they weren't always so nice to the ladies when they were dating them. I was very respectful always. My mother raised me right.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the lesson. That's the karma that you have, and to equalize here, because what happened in the past life is that you obviously, I don't, like I said, I don't know if it was an illicit love affair, criminal activity, whatever it was, you caused a lot of pain to someone, and you never forgot that lesson. And so when you were born into this life, if you look, it says with the 44, you have learned to be less selfish and know how to deal generously with others. So that means that you're learning and you're repaying that debt as you go.
Wow.
Right.
Ooh,
So,
girl, you trying to make me speechless.
so let's talk about that 16, because the 16 tarot cards, the tower being struck by lightning.
You guys seeing this in the chat? Any thoughts? Like, for what you guys know of me, does this sound like, wow, like you're getting some revelation about Big E astrology? It's kind of crazy. Oh my gosh. But listen, and I talked about this with Anjani Segrist when we did Chiron, right? I've always been that man in the arena. And so it's kind of interesting, even sharing and doing this, in the public space like this. I I am kind of an open book, and I am, because I'm here to always, like Karis One, my favorite MC, said, right? It's about like edutainment. I'm going to entertain you, but I'm also going to educate you. And that's not just with astrology. That's with my sketch comedy. It's with my monologues. It's with my rhymes. It's with my screenplays. That is always my sole purpose. I'm going to make you smile and laugh and warm your heart, but I'm going to, make a dent in your cranium to make you think and awaken you in some way that you've never have been before.
That's right. And that's what we're here to do. So my motto with my company, Soul Car Studio, is that I'm not here to impress mind, I rather awaken souls, right? I'm not here to educate, to give you entertainment. I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to educate you, but more importantly, put you on your soul's path, because we're all here for a purpose, right?
Right.
And a lot of us have gotten off our purpose due to life challenges, right? We let life challenges take us down and get us off our path. But I'm here to put you back on your path so you can enjoy a quality life that's in alignment with who you're supposed to be.
I love that.
So at the end of the day, this is what we're here for. Where I'm not here to entertain. I'm glad that you guys love it and it's good information. But at the end of the day, you need to take this information and learn it and utilize it for yourself, because at the end of the day, this can save you a lot of heartache and headache.
Preach and apply it to your daily life. Okay,
yeah,
we're running low on time, so let's.
So one more thing, let me finish out this.
Hey, you said something about the 16? What's that?
Yeah. So I wanted to finish out your destiny number here, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm just like, wow, I'm so fascinated.
Okay. All right. So the 16 is the tarot card, the tower being struck by lightning, causing disruption. So you've seen the tarot card, right? The 16, the tower card is what we call you having a tower moment. Tower moment meaning that you're going to have some type of disruption in your life. So
God knows, I've had many of those, Portia.
Yeah. So you most likely experience many disruption in your life where you're on one path. Something happens in life where it takes you into chaos that leads you to a greater path of glory or a spiritual awakening, as denoted by the 7. So this calls for inner balance, spiritual alignment, and you're careful with your words so that you avoid offending anyone, and your intentions are very clear, right? When you speak to people, you're very intentional with your words, right? Because you're trying to make sure that you don't offend people. And so clearly, Eric, you're on the life path of a spiritual teacher.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that's who you're supposed to be. So when it comes to the 16-7, the key word is awakening. So you have these clear flashes of understanding, and it's like a bolt out of the blue, right, of awareness of your true self. And it happens pretty quickly. And let me get into the astrological reference real quick before I end of the 16, because the 16, 1 represents Mars, right? So the basic desires, which is the 1, Mars, must be refined by the 6, which is Venus. So before they can become a reality in the subconscious mind is represented by the 7, and the 7 is the moon, right? So once the subconscious receives a suggestion, it becomes a reality in the world of thought. And so that's how your numbers play out. That 16-7, that 6 has to work through that aggressive energy of that 1. right, in order to make that 7. And so you're having to learn how to love people, right?
Mm.
But also in a way that is gentle, that's kind, not so aggressive, right? And then also the 1 denotes that your work is also dealing with the public and teaching people how to love themselves.
Oh my gosh, I always say that. Retire from negative self-talk. Hand in the pink slip today, you know. You got to be kind to yourself, and there's nothing more important than self-love, because then you can love another. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's
that's what it is.
that's so deep. Wow. Oh, you giving me chills, girl.
Yeah, well, look, we got some stuff in the chat. Jolie James says so. Zoe Saldana took her husband's took her last name.
Wow.
Yeah, and then said Namweezy said historically in Afro-Indigenous society, the man would always take on the name of the woman, her family, who he was marrying. Ancient tradition.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah,
deep.
this is yeah. So men have taken on women's last names before.
Okay. It just wouldn't be Eric William Taylor. I mean, but listen, let's just say it. I mean, you know, I've got such a good last name. Why would I want to take on anybody else's name? Unless I married a Taylor lady, right? But you know.
Well, maybe marrying into wealth, right? If you're
Well, no,
marrying
because
into a
okay, so
wealthy
it's funny
family,
you joked about that with Oprah, but wealth doesn't impress me. I'm not impressed by wealth.
but that's what people do, right? If they marry
No,
like
no,
it's not,
no. I'm just saying for me, Eric, I'm not
yeah.
impressed by that. Yeah, I'm not. That's it's.
Well, you may have to hyphen your name, be Eric Taylor hyphen Winfrey.
Listen, you better you better stop with that. So now, basically, are we done with me? Should I stop the screen?
I'm done with you. I know we're over time, so I didn't want to go through with the other name that I had on the slide, so I can go ahead and
Okay.
stop.
Well, no, because I wanted to see maybe real quick before we go, if you wanted to, pick one person, you wanted to share your if somebody wanted to share, what would you need? Just their birth date or?
They can give me their name, and I'm going to introduce them to my chat bot, which they can have access to. Numi.
Look at you, a chat.
Yeah, through my subscription, through my Substack. It's only $7 a month, but let me tell you, this chatbot can break down names. It can give you personal years, your numerology. I am training it on cardology, so it's not quite there on the cards. Let's
Okay.
see. Let's see. What is
I
the?
love cardology, and I love like learning about that. Like, Jazz is so deep with that. I
Mhm.
learned from her. Like,
She is one of the best.
yeah. Did you find a person?
No, I didn't. Let me go in through the
Oh,
chat
okay.
here. Yeah.
You guys, this is so awesome, and make sure you guys go and follow Miss Portia, because this is like
I was
this is
looking for someone's name. Who wants to me to break down their name? I would need your full name though. I'm looking through the chat now for a full name.
well, if they don't give it to you quickly, we're gonna have to pick somebody else, because um, I
I
gotta
just need a name. Somebody give me a name. Maybe I need to scroll down some more. Maybe I'm not seeing it. I need to go up. Maybe I need to go up. I was going down.
hmm.
Let's see. Let's see, y'all. Looks like I got Janae Frederica Gregg. Let's try her. Janae Frederica Gregg. So let's break down
Oh, welcome. I
Janae.
don't know that name.
Oh, it got your birth card right. So yeah, look, Eric, I put in what's the birth card of someone born September 10th. And so it is correct. You are the Ace of Diamonds, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So it broke it down for me. So a soul born on September 10th, birth card is the Ace of Diamonds. The essence of the Ace of Diamonds, living up to your Ace of Diamond blueprint, meaning you should honor inspiration quickly, invest in mastery, share the wealth, and ground in gratitude.
Okay.
All
Well,
right. So
let's
that's
do her real quick, because
I'm gonna do her real quick. Yeah. What is the destiny number for
you
Janae?
guys make sure you come back and comment, hit the like, and you new people, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be back on live Sunday night, but you can sign up. Look at my YouTube and my group for Navigating Ascension Friday night with Rebecca Vidanoff, 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. looking through the Akashic and channeling and astrology. And we're going to personalize it to your energy, your birthday and your big three. And it's in the Akasha, Rebecca Vidanoff, and that's $44. It's going to be powerful. Navigating Ascension.
I will be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will be there.
Okay, great. It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited.
All righty. So I'm just waiting on it to calculate her name up.
And please go support Miss Porcha Cooper, you guys. This has been, I mean, I'm already thinking about when we're gonna have you back again in the fall, because I really want to even explore not just your chatbot more, but also that the health with the numerology, because I think that's powerful.
Yes. Yes. I can come back and do the numbers and health if you would like to do that on my
I
next
would
show.
love to. I think
Yeah.
everybody, especially after these eclipses, people and the rest of this year, we got to focus on our health, you guys. Pisces North Node, Virgo South Node. That's the health axis. Health is
Yes.
wealth.
So look at here. We broke down Janae Frederica Gregg, and it comes out to be a 106 in total. So that's her full name equals up to a 7. So look at there. She has the same destiny number as you do. Now,
Wow.
the one thing about Chat GTP, and this is what I always tell people, AI is great, but it's not always accurate. And another
Yep.
thing is, it's never going to replace a human as far as getting a reading. If you just want some quick information, it can give you that, because if you get a reading from me about your name, I'm going to give you the octave that breaks down the 7, right? And then your vowels and everything. But just for the down and dirty quickness of the show, we're going to look at her destiny number, which is 7, which means that she is a seeker of wisdom and truth. She has an analytical mind, keen intuition. She has a need for solitude. She probably likes to be near water, right? Because 7 is the number that's a water number.
Right.
Interfaith journey. So very introspective with that number 7. Selective relationships means she's very private, right? You can't just pop up at her house, right? You got to be announced.
Respect that woman.
Integrity. So when lived positively, the 7 expression produces a sage-like presence. So she's a very wise person. People see her as that. So they see her as thoughtful counsel, original ideas that benefit others. And then her shadow side could be isolation. I know when you're in a 7, I'm in a 7 personal year, and I love isolation, even though I know I shouldn't do it so much. Skepticism, over analysis, and balance comes from blending rigorous study with experiential heart-centered wisdom. So it's the balance of the head and the heart.
Oh, well, thank you for that for her.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Make
it.
sure you subscribe. She's new. You have to come back on Sunday so I can break down your big 3. But Porcha, wow. That's all I can say, my friend. It is an honor and a pleasure. You have made episode 365 amazing. Blew everybody's mind. And
did I give you some insight to yourself that you didn't see before in your name, Eric?
Yeah, because I just knew that I knew the 9, the 4, and the 7. I didn't know these other numbers. And yeah, just really, it's so much confirmation. It's absurd. And I'm going to absorb it on my way to my son's football practice.
Okay.
So I got to go before they start coming in and pulling me away from the computer. But
Yes.
I want everyone, tell them your website again. Everything's down below, but please go follow her on TikTok and on IG. And soon she'll be on YouTube, right?
Yes, I am starting my YouTube channel, but I do have a podcast going on my Substack that I just started the other day.
Okay.
And then also, if you guys would like one of these reports, like a name decode report or a know thyself report, if you use the word decode, you'll get 50% off, right?
Wow.
So go to my website, soulcardstudio.com, and then purchase a report, put the code in decode, and you'll get 50% off of that report, right? So, and if you just want a name decode report, that's fine, but I also have what's called a know thyself report, where I take a deeper dive into your birth card, your birth date, and then also your name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
This has been amazing.
Yes, and my Cash App is Venus Black BLAQUE. Cash App, Venus Black BLKQUE.
Okay.
And then the IG is The Soul Card Studio. The Soul Card Studio for IG.
And the website is the
soulcardstudio.com.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
All right, you checked out my website, right?
Huh?
You checked out my website, right?
It's awesome. Oh my God. Everybody needs to go check it out. but definitely connect and learn from this brilliant woman. And she will be back, I promise. And we will discuss even more. And, listen, you always got a space in my heart. My father was a Scorpio moon and my mother was the Taurus sun. So
I got both those qualities,
there
right?
you go. Thank you, my friend. This has
Yes,
been
thank
awesome.
you. It's a pleasure.
And good night, everybody. Thank you for
Thank
watching
you,
episode
everyone.
365.
Take
Go
care.
support Porcha Cooper. Reach out to her. Get this discount. And come back and leave comments
I will. Hey,
in 25
Shawan.
seconds. And you can even ask questions. She'll check in the chat and answer questions as well.
Yes, I will.
All right.